Hi, thank you so much for letting me interview you regarding your you being a student at UT Austin and your internship at Tesla. I really appreciate you taking the time for this.
Of course, it's really nice to get to speak with you as well, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you got for me.
Yay! Okay, so first things first, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Amita Satish, and I am a rising sophomore at UT Austin, pursuing electrical and computer engineering with minors in economics and philosophy. I am also currently interning at Tesla as a manufacturing engineering intern under vehicle body.
That's cool. So, what are your educational qualifications and background?
Well, I went to Coppell High School in Coppell, Texas, somewhere near Irving, if you've heard of that place. And I moved to Austin to go to University of Texas at Austin. And yeah, that's where I am in my path. I'm just pursuing my bachelor's degree.
Would you like to explain the path that you took in high school so you know like what courses you took like your freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior year to be where you are right now?
Sure. I mean, when I was in high school, I didn't like particularly, at least in the beginning parts of high school, understand like the importance of choosing your courses wisely to get to at least just figuring out your interests and creating that wholesome perspective for yourself. But at least the courses that I took, I mean, I went through a traditional high school, so I started off with like the only APs I took in freshman year was AP Hug, like human geography. I think that's the only one that we were allowed to take. So I was like, okay, everyone's doing it, I'll do it too. And then I took like geometry, the classics like English, whatever. And then sophomore year, I took three AP classes: AP Computer Science Principles, AP World History, and I forgot the third one. It's been so long. Um,
Okay.
and, and and then junior year was like when you just dump and take like all the APs that you got. And so I think I took like 7 out of 8 APs for my schedule. So like AP Macro, like AP Physics. Oh yeah, I took AP Physics 1 sophomore year, AP Physics 2 and in junior year, and then AP Chem, uh, like some AP History, AP English, AP Stats. Yeah, like just AP galore. And then senior year, I was like, I gotta take it just a tad bit lighter than junior year because I don't have to do that to myself again. And I took oh yeah, and I took AP Calculus AB junior, BC senior year, and then like AP English, just a couple other stuff in senior year. And so if anything, I'd say the APs have helped me in, I guess, still challenging myself and not taking it too easy in high school. And at the same time, giving me some credits that I can use in college. And it's really helped me because like I think AP English came in clutch. I got out of all the Englishes. I'm out of all my histories. So I don't have to like redo those courses in college and pay like $1,000 for a class that I could get done in high school for like by just taking $100 exam. And so, like, I think just prereq courses in college like those would be really helpful to have. And then if you're going the engineering comp sci path, or really any STEM-ish path, I'd say like calculus is very helpful, stats is very helpful. And so those are some of the courses that I took in high school.
Okay. So, did you take like any extra courses or extracurriculars in high school?
Yes, one of my biggest extracurriculars I took it all 4 years was debate. And honestly, it's one of the best experiences of my life. I was like a very reserved, shy person. Genuinely, if you came up to me, I would not initiate a conversation. And it was like, I used to just be quiet, reserved, wouldn't talk to people unless they were like really close friends. And debate really opened me up. Like in ninth grade, I'd be like put into a random room. I'd have my debate partner. I used to do policy debate, and you just have to read. You got to do cross examinations. You got to like sometimes come up with stuff on the spot. So it helped me with my impromptu speaking skills as well as just like being able to craft my ideas and like just thoughts that even if I've prepared it before into something that's meaningful and just like uh, well put together, if that makes sense, to and just like communicate your ideas to other people. And honestly, communication is key. Like no matter what's like seriously helped me the most, because you you learn a lot by talking to other people and listening to other people, and that's like one big skill that debate has taught me. And then a couple other extracurriculars. I think I took like a business elective, a STEM elective, and what else do I do? I think oh yeah, like it's something called KCBY. Like they do like videography, and so it's just like I guess like a TV show that like our school produced. I did that for a year. Just like jumping around. I was just like honestly exploring. If it was a good decision, like great, I learned something out of it. If it was a bad decision, it's okay. It's just one year. I can choose to take something better the next year. And so I mean, I'm glad that I was able to at least try out a couple of different things instead of like fully restricting myself. But debate was like the biggest like in class, like class extracurricular that I did. But then out of school, I did technology student association. I was in that and competed with my team. So we did a couple events, but one of the biggest events was robotics. So TSA sponsors Vex Robotics, and so we did I did robotics for 11th and 12th grade because 10th was COVID. And then like National Technical Honor Society, Artificial Intelligence Club, a couple STEMmy things, and then yeah, so that's like my general, I guess, school involvement. I have like out of school involvement too, which we can talk about later.
Do you think those extracurriculars that you mentioned, do you think they helped you pick out clubs and organizations at UT?
Uh, I think that the clubs like that I did in high school were like the ones that helped me kind of understand what is STEM, like what are the possibilities there, and like just meet new people, to be honest, like people that like I could hang out with who had similar interests as me. Like one of my like good friend groups are from robotics, and so I mean, we had a lot of fun and just a lot of learning in just building a robot together that competes to do a specific task. Like Vex has a different game every year, and so that was really cool. And then like in so then I had like kind of explored a couple paths, and then at UT it's like narrowed down those paths, right? And so whatever like orgs that I like joined or wanted to be a part of were kind of like part of that narrowing, but I also still want to explore because again, college is another like time to explore about things that you maybe could not have done at high school. And so whether it's like joining a dance team or being part of like a huge like the IEEE club, which is like Institute of Electrical Engineers at UT, or I mean, I'm part of the undergraduate computational finance group. And so like there's a couple orgs here that are also really cool in terms of like they're really different. I would not have seen them at high school. And the work that they do is insane. It's like actually super huge. And then I'm also part of Longhorn Racing, which is, if you heard, it's just formula racing, but we got three different uh, teams. So we got electric, combustion, and solar. And so I'm under solar, and you get to race a car.
That's really cool. I'm glad that almost everything that you did in high school continued on to college. Sorry. Ugh,
Yeah.
I lost words there a little. So I most colleges mention that they're now SAT/ACT optional, and that also includes UT too. So did you take one of these tests?
Yes, yes, I did. I took both.
Okay. What are your tips and advice for preparing for it to get your ultimate goal score?
Practice. Like everything that you learn is just repetition at the end of the day. Like whether you're learning a language, or whether you're like learning a new skill. Like this summer, I wanted to learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube finally, like faster. Like I know I could do within a day if I followed that YouTube video that's like there, it's like super popular, but like I wanted to become faster at it. And honestly, like whether it's that or like learning like some new like learning any new skill, It's just repetition. And so I think with SAT and ACT, it's like know what the patterns are. Like whether I'm solving a Rubik's cube and I know I need to get that white cross and then I need to go and get the corners and like etc. You want to do the same thing with the SAT or ACT. SAT has a certain type of test. It's going to be the same formula every single time. You just have to know how to attack those questions. Same thing with the ACT. ACT is a little bit of a different format, cross transferable, but at the same time, you want to be able to like just know what its format is and just like do as many practice tests as you can get your hands on so that you can like just know what the types of questions are because they're going to come back again. As long as you know how to do them a couple times, you know you'll be able to do them reliably on the test. And so like your I guess a step-by-step plan would be first like learn your concepts, like make sure your grammar concepts and your math skills are like on par to what you need. Then after that, just go in and just do billions of practice tests until you get to an average score that's next to what you want. And then you go take the test.
Gotcha. So about your major, what made you want to pick electrical and computer engineering?
It's a good question. I like that was one of the prompts for college too, and so I had to like sit and stare at it for a little bit to be able to answer it. And it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do as well. So in my junior year of high school, like after my junior year, I did an internship at Citibank, and it was honestly a really good experience for me because like I got to explore a side of like banking that's just full tech and how like tech is honestly everywhere and like you can do so many different things with tech. Like you can do like a tech role without doing any tech, and you can also do tech role while doing like all tech. So you could be like a full-on software developer, or you could be like a TPM product manager or whatever, and you could have like a less tech role. You could be a designer, you could do anything with tech. And so I was just like, this is such a cool field. And so that kind of narrowed me down to engineering because I was like, I like what they're doing. I like building, I like making new things. Like since I was small, like Legos are my like number one go-to thing. Like I used to always build Legos. Like all the kits, like all the Star Wars ones and like my sister had the Lego Friends ones. We did those.
Friends.
Yeah, those were memories. And then like I'd build like mini popsicle mansions at home because like I used to see those like YouTube videos in which they just build like miniature things. And so whatever I had at home, I'll cut it up, glue it up, try to like wire in some lighting, and then it just like sit in my room. But either way, it made me happy that I was able to build something. And so I picked specifically electrical under the subset of engineering because I could have hands-on experience as well as like the software side of things. And I really enjoyed making applications. But I also wanted to have a little bit of like hands-on aspect. And so I thought that like embedded systems, IoT, and like the communications field, like all of that sounded really, really cool to me. And then like you can also do ML over all of that. So like honestly, ECE just put everything together for me. Just all my interests into literally the perfect major. So I was like, naturally, this is the choice that I would use.
Is ML machine learning?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to describe what machine learning is?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, there's most people confuse artificial intelligence and machine learning. But I so you could so I'd say okay, if I had to like define artificial engineering, sorry, artificial intelligence, it's basically trying to mimic how a human would solve a problem, but like with the computer. But machine learning instead is I guess you could take it from the name where you're actually like training models to be able to like, so it's just a lot of data that you feed into like said computer, and you're able to teach it, like I guess teach it algorithms. You're trying to make the computer think algorithmically.
Okay.
Um, and so it's a subset of AI in which it tries to use the algorithms of how humans learn and actually like improve that accuracy and be able to like um, spit out an output.
Okay, gotcha. So I also noticed that you said that you're minoring in economics. Do you think that, so why did you choose to minor in economics, and do you think it combines with engineering in some way?
So economics, like when people think of it, it's just like, ooh, money. And money is like, oh, that, it's just like economics is the way that like money rolls around. But like there's also other sides to economics. There's like behavioral economics. And economics is all like people oriented. It's like people make these decisions, and so these outcomes come out of it. And so at the end of the day, even as an engineer, you're making products for people, and people are the one who are going to use it. And so I want to also like get an economics perspective side of like how markets are set up and also how people influence those markets, because as an engineer I'm going to be making products for those markets. And
Mhm.
so that's where I'd say like engineering and economics come in together. And so I wanted to be able to learn more about behaviors of people. And I'm also doing a minor in philosophy, and again, that's more like the logic side of things, and like again, how people think, and what kind of drives people's decision making.
Gotcha. At UT, do you use any like, do you have like any leadership roles? Do you do like any leadership or things like that?
So, I mean, as I mentioned, so I guess three or four main orgs that I'm part of right now are Longhorn Racing, undergraduate computational finance, and IEEE, which is like the electrical engineering org, and women in electrical and computer engineering. So these four orgs, like I joined my first year, so like you'd have to like be in it for like 2 years to be able to get a leadership role. But like of course with involvement and stuff, like you go from being like a member to being like maybe a lecturer to being something else. And so like again, this year is like when you apply for roles. So like this coming fall, I'd be able to apply to be something else.
Gotcha. So back to STEM, what's back to electrical engineering stuff. What STEM subjects do you believe are involved in whatever you do?
Well, STEM is like such a huge umbrella. Like seriously, so many things fall underneath it. But I'd say big picture under ECE, math is like honestly the hugest thing. I just like went into my degree audit and I saw like I'm like 50% done with the math major with all the math courses I'm taking. And so it's very math heavy. You really need to be good at math, or have an interest for math, to for really any engineering. And then like be strong in your physics for ECE specifically. But like if you're doing like if you're doing like aerospace or mechanical, like thermodynamics and like fluids, applied physics, like physics is like also a pretty big area, depending on which engineering you end up picking. But I'd say like ECE, aero, mechanical, are the top three that come to my mind. There's obviously lots of other engineerings that would use physics. And then computer science, if you're doing electrical and computer engineering, because every semester at UT, you take a like CSE course. And so like first semester, it was like intro to computing, so learning like assembly language. Second semester was like C and ARM assembly. So yeah, and then this coming semester I'll be taking C++ and C. And then after that you pick like your path, of like which language you want to specialize in. So you could either go lower level with like ARM assembly and C, or you can pick a higher level language like Python or whatever. um,
Gotcha.
and so it depends on what path you pick. There's a lot of paths you could pick.
Which programming language are you planning on picking, Python or C++? plus plus?
I have no clue. I mean, obviously, I just finished my first year, and like like the first semester of my second year, I'm taking like this fall semester, I'm going to be taking like C++ and C. So once I figure out like how it is, if I like it, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But it's not like that you pick a programming language, rather you pick the track that you want to go into. So there's three three software paths and four electrical engineering paths, but like the electrical engineering paths don't limit you to just like circuits and stuff, but they also have like some computer engineering principles. So they're very blended, but they've tried to separate it into, I guess, 8 or so different tracks that you can pick.
Gotcha. How do your classes look like at UT?
Look like as in like physical appearance or the experience of being in it?
Both.
Okay, so I mean, like in high school, it's just like, you have like if you go into like any math class or really any class, you'll have like posters on the wall, you have like a blackboard, and you'll have like the projector screen coming down. That's honestly such a like high school and everything below high school type look. And that's not something that you would necessarily get at a university. At a university, the classes, it depends on the class size. I have been in classes that are like 20 people to being in classes that are like could fit like 200 plus people. And so there's some old buildings, there's some new buildings, and so some of the classes, like literally my elbows could touch other people because I'm sitting like this. There's other classes in which like the chairs are like really cute and like you got like a big long desk. You or some of the classes I've had like I think DiffyQ last semester, like you had to like pull up the like desk chair. It's like just like a think of a movie theater where like the seats like come up, so you'd have to like sit in it and like the seat will be pushed down, and then you'll get like that. It'll be like a really tiny table, like a full sheet of paper won't fit on it. And so we had to take tests in there. I mean, it depends where you are. Some teachers only like using chalk. Some teachers will just write on their iPad or something and project it to the screen. And so, like those are the fancier classes, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's really different because, like, it's lesser likely that the professor makes the class like fully engaging where like every 2 seconds he stops and asks a question. Like in high school, like they would like the teacher would stop at one concept and like make sure to ask questions to like make sure everyone in the class is answering. I used to hate that because like they'd point to me and then be like, oh no, I have to answer and speak up in class. But I mean, now in college, like if you don't have a question and you don't want to speak, you don't usually end up having to speak, um, which is better and worse in a way because like you could just be completely not engaged in class and like it wouldn't matter. The
Yeah.
accountability is all on you. You have to want to learn, you have to want to come to class, and you have to want to like seriously pay attention and grasp the content. So like every class I like go up to the professor after. I have a list of questions that I took as I took notes, and I'm like, hey, you need to tell me what this is. um and it can get a little difficult because of the pace, because it is fast, really fast. But it is still a different learning experience. Like first semester it'll take a little bit to get settled into, but after that like you'll get used to it.
Gotcha. Okay. So why did you choose to attend UT Austin?
I applied to a couple universities. Like my college apps, I didn't think I wanted to go to an Ivy League university because of the cost associated with it.
Mhm.
An Ivy League university, I mean like anything of its that's comparable to it in terms of its standard. It's like includes Stanford and whatever. It was, first of all, the applications look like they take forever. And I mean, with my classes that I was taking in high school and like the amount of colleges I was applying to, it's like another added on like set of essays that I have to write. So in part because of my laziness, but another part is like, even if I get accepted, can I afford this education? Like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pay like 75 grand a year to attend an undergrad level college, because these are more entry level courses. Like undergrads are meant to be a way for you to like get into the field and like get exposure into what the field entails. What you do after you get into like engineering undergrad typically is like if you want to get a really good engineering job, you specialize in something because you want to be valuable. You don't want to have just general knowledge. You want to be like really good at this one thing, and then you do a master. So like that master's, yes, like go to a good school for that. But your undergrad, you're getting general level education. So I feel like, at least for me personally, I did not want to shell out 400K on an undergrad. And so I was looking at like rankings and like UT was pretty good. I mean, I think ECE was like number 6 or 7 when I was applying in the US or the world or whatever. And I was like, that sounds great to me. And I applied to Georgia Tech. I think that was like number 4 in the US when I was applying. And I was like, these are literally like top 10 universities and programs, like, and tuition is affordable for me. Why not? And so the universe, I also applied to, of course, some Ivies and just to see if I'd get in because I was curious. But like I my parents were like, you're going to UT if you get in because it's in state. They can come drive and see me whenever they want to, and it's a good education. So it's like not too close, but not too far away. And yeah.
Okay. Do you like the environment of UT?
Yeah, of course. I love it. It's like, so I have a couple friends who are, going to Ivy Leagues and comparable universities. And it's like, it's small. Your class size, you'll know everyone. So think about it as like one grade in a high school. Like each like grade in my high school is about like 1,000 people. And so it's like that. So like you know every single person, and that kind of like, it's a good and bad thing because at UT, I don't know everyone and, and nobody knows me. I can get a fresh start if I wanted to. And there's like a lot of people, I think maybe 9,000 people per grade level. Um, so like freshmen, there's 9,000 freshmen, 9,000 sophomores, about, I think. I'm not really sure about the statistics, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice. You can bump into new people, you can bump into people you already know, and so I like that type of vibe. And there's so many things to do. Like Austin's a great place. Like West Campus is very lively, and like Austin itself has so many cute places to go and see and have fun with your friends. And like the professors are like seriously geniuses. Um, my freshman year, I had a professor who went to like Dartmouth and MIT and something else, like 3 Ivies, and he was like mega genius. And he, when we were like getting in closer to the end of the course, he's like, I think I just taught you what sophomores at MIT learned. And so we completed a full electrical engineering, like I guess intro to circuit theory course that like MIT sophomores would learn as a
Oh, wow.
freshman first semester at UT. I don't, you don't get that often. And so I thought that was a pretty good experience.
Okay, so I want to go into the internship about Tesla because that is pretty cool. So, how did you acquire that?
There's some campus people who like come for like recruiters. So they came and like presented about Tesla and they were like, "Hey, this is our company." And so I just like went to their presentation. So that's like how I kind of like got to know that like Tesla's hiring. And so then I went and I scanned a QR code at their presentation, and then they reached out to me. They said, like in that QR code, I like put my resume in there, and then they reached out to me. They said, "We're interested. Would you like to interview?" And so I was like, "Oh my God, Tesla wants to interview me!" And so then I went to a couple of interviews, like some phone interviews, some like face-to-face interviews, like face-to-face meeting like on Zoom. And yeah, it was pretty good. Turned out to have a good result. I got the internship. So
Nice. Okay. And does what you do at Tesla relate to electrical and computer engineering?
yeah, yeah, very much. I haven't done any of the stuff that I am doing right now at Tesla ever in my life, like ever. But I get like the overlap I can see, like the communication protocols that I learned in embedded systems. Like I can see how that like concept kind of ties into what I'm doing at Tesla. So at Tesla, I am we work on network management or like just setting up the entire. So this, I guess an easier way to explain this is like at home you have like one device and it's connected to a router, and then the router helps you connect to the internet,
Wow.
right? So it's that kind of like hierarchy. So what we're trying to do is like for the factory, we're setting up that entire system, except think about like billions of devices. You got like AGVs moving around, you got like robots and other stuff. And so like my team specifically does PLC programming for them, and like we set up the entire network architecture there. And yeah, it's been pretty cool. I've
I
learned a
mean
lot.
that that seems pretty exciting. And I have an even more exciting question. Have you ever seen Elon Musk before?
I've seen his bodyguards covering his face, but I think I've like seen him through the bodyguards or something. So
So he's like protected by guards and all of that.
I mean, yeah, there of course he'd have bodyguards.
He's a billionaire, of course.
Yeah, I mean, safety is definitely necessary. So
Okay, yeah. So you are a woman in STEM, which that's good. We're here for a reason. So do you see any like prejudice? Do you like have to encounter with like, like sexism and all of that at both UT and Tesla?
at least so far, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I did because I haven't realized it, I guess. I'm just around supportive people. I have a good community of people, and like at least at Tesla, like it's all learning. Like everyone is so nice to everybody, and like they just love teaching you. I could go up to a random person and be like, I don't know what this is. Can you point? Like, say I'm just like walking around and I'm like curious about like one thing is, and they ask me, I'm like, well, can you tell me what this is? And they'll be like, yeah, I can. And so like everyone's very open to the concept of learning, and same at UT. Um, like at least the people that I've bumped into or talked to have been very friendly to me, and like all the orgs that are there, they're all very supportive as well. So I personally would say that like once you get to UT or like a university type setting, get into a good group, get into orgs that you're interested in. Like once they see your passion, like that, nothing's gonna stop them. And if they do, if they come and say something to you, if they like don't want to include you in something, like don't listen to them. Like you can go and learn whatever you want. It's like honestly fully up to you. So you just have to have the drive. That's literally it.
Gotcha. How does STEM affect your life in general?
Well, I mean, it's just everything I do, I just think about like I had to like retake some physics course or something. And so like in the summer to get like the actual college credit for it, because one of my AP credits was like weird in its transfer. And so it's like in physics too, one of the concepts like with fluids is like force equals pressure over area. So when I was in the shower, I'm like, oh my God, force equals pressure over area. That's why I'm getting good shower pressure today. And so like random things like that, like just like pop up in my life, and like anything I build, anything I want to make, or anything that I see, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. We could make it this way. Or I see this problem, like I think I could fix it this way. It's just like you find ways to like just build and innovate constantly. And that just changes your like mindset and perspective on just like how you approach problems every day.
Gotcha. Final question for this interview. What are your tips and advice for high schoolers who want to pursue a STEM career?
Be driven, be motivated, and just don't give up. You can do it. Like even if you feel like you don't know anything, which has happened to me like so many times. I just feel like, oh my God, I don't know anything compared to these people. Like, what the heck? What am I doing here? But like you were chosen for a reason, or like people saw something in you. You just if you are a learner and you have a passion for learning, that's honestly good enough. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Got you. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you taking the time to let me interview you about electrical engineering and Tesla.
Yeah, of course. It was great speaking with you.